quick, because watching the season and watching the East, and Knicks are in the mix. They're playing good basketball. They beat down the bad teams. They can't play with the good teams. And Milwaukee blew them out last night in the tournament game. So Chuck and Kenny were talking about last night on the show about the Knicks and their ceiling, and I thought they made a really, really good point about I'm gonna find it real quick. Where's it at? There it is. They made a really good point about the Knicks and why they are destined to be where they're at, because they need another whale. Here's what I had to say last night.
This is why the Knicks are going to stay in the middle. Every game that they play, they always have the second best player. You play Boston, you got the second or third best player. You play Orlando with Banchero. They don't have a player that's better than Banchero. Milwaukee, we know. Philadelphia, they don't. The Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton is the best player on the floor, if you say that.
Correct.
If you play the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler is the best player on the floor. You play the Cleveland Cavaliers, you have Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. You don't have the best player on the floor no night. Now, they can play better than you, but they are not walking into the gym and saying,
you have no margin for error.
Right.
That's why I said the first night, I said the Knicks need to make a trade.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, in one regard, wasn't that obvious to everybody? Any and every NBA fan, wouldn't that be an obvious thing?
I would say so.
But my second thing is, I guess they don't believe that there could be another early 2000s rendition of the Detroit Pistons.
It could work. You can steal a title out of that, maybe if you're lucky. And it's funny you said that too, because what I say to you and Chris on when we did our preview, I think early in the year, Jalen Brunson reminds me of Chauncey Billups.
Oh, absolutely.
That's actually a good comparison. They're in that spot now where they're a good team, and if you're a Knicks fan, you're happy they're relevant again, which is good. But their ceiling is second round of playoffs like last year. You're not beating Milwaukee. You're not beating Boston. I don't think you're beating Miami still. I don't think you're beating Philadelphia. Is still better. It's still better than you guys, even without James Harden now, with Maxey now and B doing the damn thing. So there's a ceiling on the Knicks. They might still be a top 6 team for again, by the time we get to April, but there's a ceiling. The question is now what stars are out there for them to get. Like I was saying, Karl-Anthony Towns at one point, but right now things are pretty cool in Minnesota right now. So maybe that's not an option anymore. I mean, Embiid maybe, but right now things are good there in Philly right now as well too. Donovan Mitchell maybe next year, because Donovan Mitchell is on a contract year next year. Maybe you finally get that thing going, but they need another whale. They need another whale. I don't think Randall and Brunson are enough to get you over the hump. As good as this team is, cohesively as a unit, for them to get into the championship picture, they need another piece.
No, I agree. They certainly need another piece, but they have trade assets to do that. They have their own picks. Yeah. They have other teams' picks. They have R.J. Barrett that they could easily trade, or maybe I don't think it'd be wise to trade Randall, but maybe they do flip Randall. But they have a ton of assets. They can get a whale if they want now.
Yeah.
And I think that was the whole mission right there. They weren't going to give up everything for Mitchell off the bat. They want to make sure when they put their chips in, they're going to be a complete team.
I mean, in defense though, they beat Mitchell in the Cavs last year, so it worked. At least,
and that's what I'm saying. Are we sure Brunson isn't the best player when you put the Cavs out there?
I mean, we had him ranked number 21 and number 20, I think, in our rankings in our player rankings.
So
he might be higher now. He's having a great year this year too.
So there you are.
Maybe it's time to look and see if look. I think that they have a good talent on the team, but they need one more piece.
No, absolutely. But I mean, when your first two answers are Boston and Milwaukee, yeah, that's not fair.
Right.
You don't need the best player on the court to beat the Heat. You need to play great to beat the Heat because the Heat play as a team.
Right. As I'm watching them right now, beating Toronto by 7, about 30 seconds to go in the game. But All right. So